gathered here today for the launch of a very special book. It's a book not just about Nigeria, but about humanity as a whole. One of the Senate, distinguished Senator the former Minister, of course, of the Republic of Nigeria, two of those that they should be enjoyed today. Ladies and gentlemen, I have together October B and let me talk we also want to recognize the presence of representative of the governor of Lagos State. That's our host governor. So now Pedro, senior represents the governor of Lagos State. The Commissioner for Justice. Thank you very much. We want to recognize another senior advocate of Nigeria who was at some point the commissioner in Lagos. A key official, senior official of that, of the Progressive Congress, Democracy, who is by the way next. With a former advisor. That we want to recognize. A chieftain of territory and someone who you can talk about the struggle against a true and reflective constitution for this country that we will not talk about this time. He's a chieftain of territory, always with the identified and democracy. Hands together, please, for Chief Tony Barrett. And just imagine what it would be not to have traditional rulers here with us. We want to, even though he's not a traditional ruler, but we want to recognize the presence of the Ashiwaju of the sorry. Still recognizing the presence of Otumba J.K. Randall, who at some point was, of course, the governorship candidate, I believe, in Lagos State. Thank you very much. So good to see you. Age has not done anything to you. Because I covered the governorship. Presence of mass communication in Nigeria, who has produced those who have gone on to do great things. He's the chairman of the University, talking about Dr. Ralph Akingbele. Also recognizing a one-time governorship candidate of Lagos State who actually shook the political landscape of Lagos State. And also recognizing the presence of Honorable Jibe Jimo, who is a member of the House of Representatives. Also recognized in a very special way an elder statesman in our midst, who call himself a journalist. He will tell you he's a reporter as well. That this man has made immense contribution, not just for the field of politics. I'm talking about the former governor of the state. And talk about a one-time Senator Dayo at PAE. I can't forget Friday. Yes, the chairman of the chairman of the board, senior advocate of Nigeria, and of course, a top lawyer. So we continue with the recognition. Well, let's recognize the presence of a few people before we go straight to the program. We want to recognize a very chief Dr. Ebu Shunaya. Also recognizing Chief Support and Mama Maria, who is the General of Lagos. We want to recognize the presence of former executive secretary of the Economic Commission for the scholar as well, Professor Adebayo Williams. Also recognizing an Adebayo pro-democracy activist, Ali Osho. And recognizing Honorable Akin Dada, who is the chairman of the local government area. I think I'll continue with this. Sorry. We want to recognize also the presence of Reverend Dr. Manujide Adeji, the pastor of the Catholic Baptist Chapel. And of course, he is the research father of the water. We also want to recognize the presence of Dr. Karen Mabarisa is here with us. And the major last speakers is so finally, the man who has brought us here together. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing that we can go from rich history that is to have him here in our presence. And the author, of course, there's no way you can talk about the democracy we enjoy today and you don't talk about Iowa. There's no way of the fight against the military, the fight against the government. You would not talk about Iowa. Not about and we're going to have it. We're also blessed to have them also. Together, please. Now, last but not least, let me recognize in a very special way, who, of course, accompanied as a first lady in your state, and of course, and the wife, the Lagos Animo, first lady of Lagos Animo, of course, the wife of the late Rear Admiral, sorry. Yes, Rear Admiral BBC Kano, who of course we all these rights of national. Time is our own. Thank you very much. Okay. It's my pleasure to please invite the Reverend Dr. Olujide Baptist Church, sorry, because the authors radio file. Calculate for the life that are given to each and every one of us. We only 50 days from January 2020. We are grateful for the state of each and every one of us to experience. Thank you for health, strength that are given to us. But we thank you for this appointment to be able to keep for this special occasion. We are grateful out of this exercise. But we ask that as we comment, let us pray that always along your blessing. Thank you, Holy Father. Jesus' name. Okay. Before we move on to the next item, program, I want to quickly recognize Dr. Balazaka, who's also and Dr. Kuya Debuti. At this point, we want to invite the chairman of the occasion, of the stand. It's a great pleasure to welcome you. It's not just affecting our still direct. That is why God and human actually goes to war. Only reason we have wickedness, no power, which just last month capture of Maduro, the president of Venezuela, which is one. American president for general of the universe. There is no wickedness of power that has been demonstrated. Has no in some time, President General of the world makes all the box. To return to us who are always there was like what the government did. There was a time actually that we had three high commissioners repeated. That when you go Nigeria, the true federalism, since the government is like any of us don't do advocate for the new everything that we do now is affected everywhere of government. Now we have come to the reality of our where are we? Where do we go from here? An advocate for a new constitution for Nigeria. What if you affect nation? Proposal is that we will have a political system that reflects that fact, manifest for another constitution for Nigeria. If you want to consider as celebration, ladies and gentlemen, this will be welcome to everyone and actually all of you, some section. Welcome.
Thanks again for the chairman of the team. Thank you very much for the chairman. We're so
Well, before I call on the next person, very important to recognize a person, Dr. Fred Akwedi, poet, a lawyer, author, pro-democracy activist, about Dr. Fred Akwedi. Thank you very much. I don't know if he's a chief, but I want to be the chief. But this man has made so much. Now I'm going to introduce that. He's made so much contribution. In the field of journalism, in the field of theater, and what have you. I'm talking about anything because he's dressed like a chief here. Chief Patrick Doyle. Went together with the Patrick. Also recognizing Dr. Sylvester Dion, who was taking the place of Salvador as a chief here. And to recognize the president of Mrs. Timothy Ifowoshe, who is, of course, the daughter of the late chairman, and of course, former governor of Ondo. Next up, of course, we will take a goodwill message from Chief Emeka Anyoku, the former Commonwealth Secretary. The hands together for him, please.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you why I accepted the invitation to be here today. My principal reason was my admiration of the track record of IO. I first heard of it in the day where the stalwarts of Nabil, a number of them, used to visit my home in London. A number of them that included our most respected president, Bola. He was one of the captains of Nabil. Then again, I heard a lot more about IO of other from my colleague in the election of Chief of Water Leadership Prize. I happen to be the chairman of that selection, and a good many of my colleagues spoke about IO. He has produced this book, which I must confess I'm looking forward to reading. The title of the book reminds me of another book titled The Battle of the Gong, which was written by a very prominent and South African journalist, Ruth First. Ruth First, in that book, spoke about the state of the United States of America, who had said that he could remember the number of times he was woken up and told, yet another coup be done in an African country sounded like a Ruth first in her book.
The professor of political science at the Lagos State University, to give us a review if I have done part of the job.
You have not done so. Chairman, Pastor Mabuka, Your Excellencies, Royal Majesties, distinguished senators and the press, and ladies and gentlemen. On the 5th of January, we were here to mark the 80th birthday of Professor Theodore Dave. And the man who wrote this review that I'm going to read, Mr. Sam Omaseye, was here. And I told him we will meet here on the 15th. But man proposes, God is words. It's in his words to be here with us. So I go ahead and read this review. I had the opportunity of doing what we call a portfolio review before today on the book. Ayo Padoku's Gone Hegemony, a review by Sam Omaseye. A context is necessary to review a book like Ayo Padoku's. First, the use of the phrase gone hegemony may be problematic. The word hegemony was popularized by the Italian activist and theorist Antonio Gramsci. He was not referring to things, but humans. He was talking about how segments of society try to lord it over. Human societies have always been hegemonic, whether it is the hegemony of the ethnic superiority or the sway of certain set of ideas. Okonkwo in this book sees Nigeria's contemporary history as one written by the gun. That is a large claim for any writer. One, on the visionary level, writers tend to give narrative voices to anyone to tell the young of the society. They give it to children, as in Abiku or Banjer, in Okris, the famished world. To a long-gone ancestor, like Wofolo's Shaka. In fact, the Nigerian novelist, Chigozie Obioma, gave the honors to a chief. The private god in Igbo mythology. It was his second novel and Booker Prize finalist, an orchestra of minorities, that the chief's voice attained the climate. On the non-fictional level, however, Opadoku seeks to raise the stakes. Is it a question of the gun or the man? The debate is hottest today in the United States. John Bernard Shaw suggests the conundrum in Spain hangs of the man. In the US, those who say it is not the gun that kills, but man have argued that guns are not to blame. Guns are innocent. Guns are sinned against. Man is the sinner. You can have 1,000 guns on the street, and not a murder, and not a shot fired. The reason guns cannot shoot themselves. So every year, the country laments a school massacre, a neighborhood bereavement, a church funeral, an old man falling, or community leader man. But those who want their guns defend the guns. They do not accept any argument about the gun hegemony. We have to fix the people, not the guns. It is a very important part of Padoko's argument, although it does not probe the interstices of this issue. It does well to probe the origins of guns and how it changed forever the tone and tone of warfare over the ages. Man no longer had to refer to the great horseman of war, wielding swords and slashing throats. No more the grand battle Caesar, leading the troops against the Roman hordes, trying to tear the empire apart. War became more plain, death was efficient. But the concern of the author is how the gun has changed the Nigerian narrative forever. He laments how we missed the opportunity in January 1966. In doing so, he has excavated some facts that were known to a few, and even those who knew did not exist on the veracity of their witnesses. It is a story of false news. January 1966 was the day we might have saved democracy for Nigeria. We might have demonstrated in the contagion of coups in the sub-region that Nigeria's democracy had a resilience of spirit, and the guns would not have dared any form of hegemony. Many have asked, when the coup failed, how come we had the military in charge? What happened to the parliament? According to records from men like Richard Akindele and Shehu Shagari, after no one saw Prime Minister Tafawa Balewa, members of the parliament picked big chairman from the northeast to act as Prime Minister. It was the task of one for reason to legalize it by swearing him in. He wouldn't. Even though he had all the power to do so, he bittered. He said he was only acting on Zeke's behalf. But he was told he was going to formalize it since Zeke was on the high seas. Zeke has already been picked up by Emmanuel Fagina, the Barikou, and the coward was not his dead or not. If you read Opadoko's earlier work, Aristocratic Rebel, about MD Yusuf, Nigeria's top spy and former Inspector General of Police, you would understand that all Nigerian coups were known ahead of time. The eminent powers did not act because they were like drones, fast and too prompt to roll. For instance, the Dika coup was dismissed, and they claimed they would not worry themselves about a drunkard. It turned out back to 1966 that one for reason knew he had power to swear in an active prime minister. His eyes were set on his kinsman, K.O. Mbadiwe. The rumble within the parliament was that it seemed Orizu was confirming the fears that the coup was dictated by ethnic designs. This is a very serious allegation. He obviously could not pull it through. That opened the window for a option. Individual ambition trumped national interest. General Ironsi, the man who moved about with a baby crocodile, had control of the army. He was even triumphant. According to the eyes witnesses, Ironsi summoned the lawmakers in one room and read them the riot act. It was either they surrender the power to him as gentlemen, or he would take it by force. That was not the language of the Democrats, but the despot. So the lawmakers wanted to make it clear that they did not give up power without resistance. The soldiers had taken over with guns. Dialogue and constitution were out of the window. Some context is again necessary for Ironsi. He was supposed to be one of the targets of the coupists. He was basking in the sun while his colleagues had expired, like Mama Larry and Shoden. In fact, the man who should have eliminated the general according to their plan left him. In fact, the man fled to Ghana. He and his rival, colleague, Kabuna Ziogu, would eventually die in the Civil War. Many believe that Ironsi was grateful to the young man for sparing his life. Was it to spare his own life that he took over power? Was it feeling guilty? Was he anticipating a sort of institutional revenge on the army because he was breathing widely his soldiers' colleagues lay dead, some as yet undiscovered in bushes? Was he paranoid? If he survived, was there any reason for any parliament to come after him? To come after him would be to legitimize the coup. No lawmaker was going to do that. Opado is a writer who can attitude, and that gives him punk. What he has asserted are the facts, that is, that the wrong thing and the reason destroyed the First Republic. We must understand that it was not politicians that killed the Republic. The coupists had failed. They were scrambling for their own lives. They had been arrested. What was the next step? Of course, try them. The wrong thing would not. The issue was raised in parts of the country, particularly in the north and west, that the wrong thing's relevance to do the logical thing was because these men were his statesmen. And the case man in trouble, he could, as soon as to make attacks, he no longer attacks, must be saved, not blamed. Anger against a brother was felt in the flesh, not in the bone. He is a fool who treats his brother worse than his friend. End of quote. He declared that some of us took over from our classroom in the 1980s was that civilians were responsible for the demise of the republic. That politicians failed democracy. Politicians can always be crumbled. Yet, as we have seen, they might have been running a flawed system. Yet, they kept the faith. Part of the illusion was resonance of the speech. That was because of the soaring and self-serving record of those cool speech, about 10%, etc., etc. Iran swaggered to power as a messiah. He was just a soldier, but suddenly he was going to govern the country. There was a sore tongue in the tail. According to Uzoku, he was being released from Calabar and probably had tea with the premiers, while the Savannah of Sokoto, Sir Amadu Bello, and Amadu were slaughtered in the presence of their families. The full happiness of origin and the rotten led to the eventual slaughter of the Igbos in the pogrom that smeared parts of the north from Sokoto to Makodi. If Jeremiah became acting prime minister, we might not have had a pogrom, but one of some of the bloody chapters of the Civil War. The promulgation of Decree 34 has become one of the contentious laws in our history. Some historians have tried to excuse the wrong thing. It might have been naive unification decree, but it was a cardinal call for ethnic domination. As a Bible noted in his aristocratic rebel, Oduku had exploited the decree to ask all parents to take charge across the civil service. The decree was bad enough, but Oduku's crown poisoned the pool. The civil servants in the north were the first to feel alienated. If it was naive, the resistance in the north should have restrained the Russians. Yet it did not. Middle ranking officers in the north have written letters saying they would act if it was not reversed. The Russian was dead. The Igbo streets across the country became self-righteous. They burned the savannah and everything, and were singing triumphantly. But in the barracks, the Igbo officers' wives were mocking their northern counterparts. The tension was in the air. The Russian men knew his blood was afoot. He could not do anything to stop them. If he tried, it would be an open season of civil war. Yet, it would not be vast cost. Historians do not say anything is inevitable, but something was going to happen. It was like the oil of Sophocle play, who saw tragedy and was carrying towards it as though there was no cause. A literary critic known as Pillar described it as resistant brutality. And we see this in the Okonkwo's things fall apart. And it happened in what is known as the revenge coup of July 1966. The issue of death and destruction was all the January 15 night brought us. The revenge coup in July was blood rule. It might not have happened if Uziagu and his community were tried. It is a story about how we must not allow our heroes to destroy our societies. Orizo had been memorialized today, but what of the millions of people that were slaughtered in cold blood because he was trying to pursue the same ethnic agenda? It brings to mind the poem of Claude McKay, and I read, "If we must die, let it not be like hawks, hunted, penned in an inglorious spot, while round us bark the mad and hungry dogs, making a mock at our accursed lot. If we must die, oh, let us nobly die." End of quote. Another crucial part of the book is the person of Adekunle Fajimi. He has been criticized as a hero and as a host. In July 1966, he and Ironsi were picked up, and the widespread belief was that the soldier wanted to spare him, but he insisted on being shot. The eyewitness, including Theophilus Danjuma, said otherwise. Here are the words of Lieutenant Colonel William Wabi, retired. "We arrested him as we arrested Akinyi Ironsi. We suspected him for being part to the January coup. You remember the battle group course, which was held in Abeokuta. Fajimi was the commander of the battle group course. All those who took part in the January coup were those who had taken part in the course. We have to suffer. I'm sorry if I the nature of the life of the victim." End of quote. Danjuma said it was under Fajimi the training of the raid of the Saduana took place. After Fajimi's arrest, he said, "The church could not command Fajimi such that if there was anybody who should die first, as far as they were concerned, it was Fajimi, not even Akinyi Ironsi." Opalowo's God Hegemony is meditation on the nation's dark moment. He nudges us to look back on that day, this day, to understand how to treasure the beauty of democracy. I thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. There's actually more to the book. That's just a brief. Something I must say about the book is this. I mean, from the book, I think it's a lesson that every government should actually take from the book. The counter coup of July. The counter coup of July 29th, right? Sure. The counter coup of July 29th was actually planned, but it was not going to happen on the 29th of July. It was actually not going to happen on the 29th of July. In fact, the protagonist, the mastermind of the coup, Major Murtala at the time, had even given up the coup was going to happen. But something happened in Abeokuta. A rumor actually caused the coup. The immediate cause of that coup was a rumor that the government failed to deal with. That was actually that's the immediate cause of the coup. A rumor started flying within the barracks. Some Igbo soldiers were killing some Hausa soldiers. Some Hausa soldiers had been killed by the Igbo soldiers in Kaduna and all of that, which was not true. But this rumor had been festering. The government did not make the attempt to, speak up and clarify, and that was what actually precipitated the coup. I mean, the immediate cause of the coup. And then, so I think it's a lesson, and very glaring in terms of information management at the time. The government at the time did not manage information well. They did not. There was no PR. I'm talking about the government of Iranzi, and the delay, of course, as the book reviewer said, the delay in trying those who staged the coup of January. That was us. Honestly, I think maybe a film should be done on this book. It's very dramatic, very dramatic. All right. So we have to move on now. I want to welcome in a very special way now Mrs. Dupe Adelaja, who is a former Minister of Defense and, of course, daughter of Abraham Adesoya. She's here with us. Your hands together for her, please. And also recognizing the presence of Tona Okwaru, who is a representative of Great Okwaru. Thank you, Tona. I want to recognize the presence of members of the Nigerian Automobile Technicians Association of Nigeria, NANTA, Lagos State Council. Thanks for coming. And the president of the Nigerian Bricklayers Association, Alhaji Taye Dauda. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming. So, at this point, I think we should hear from the author. Your hands together for let's hear from him, the motivation. And probably he will tell us how he was able to lay his hands on that important report of the E branch. Okay, you should get this good. You should get this good. Your hands together for me, please.
What a day like this. I'm very honored to have this array of the best that Nigeria can produce. You shocked me for honoring me with your presence. I'm deeply grateful. The oldest man here, Ambassador Emeka Anyoko. To my greatest shock, because I have not related with him for a while, I was shocked when he called me to ask whether I'm still the one. And I said, sir, he's still your boy. I attended the book launch and I said, sir, well, God will continue to bless you, sir. I have problem about how to relate to this audience because of the variety of distinguished people who are seated. I cannot, if I start now to talk about my relationship with many of you, we won't leave this place. That's the truth of the matter. Is it my boss, whom I knew 45 years ago, who have done a human job for this book launch? Uncle Sam Amaka. When Professor Idocho And I, as my consultant, approached 2 or 3 ministers in Nigeria to do what your government does abroad, Europe, America, everywhere, using scientific technique to verify public opinion on matters of public importance. No newspaper was willing to give us a chance. But Uncle Sam, as a co-founder of Punch and editor-in-chief, gave us a time. And he set up a department, Punch Opinion Poll Department of Punch newspaper. And I was made the first head of that department. That was how we started up. Look, and this man now has given me, let me expose myself to you. I don't have power. Uncle Sam freely gave me almost 3 pages of newspaper free. I don't know what is that I've done, but it's always looking around for me. God will continue to guide me through in Jesus' name. You know, Uncle Sam on himself was 91 last year. These are the kind of people I have around me. Yeah? These are the kind of people around me. Now, it's not Friday. It's now 87. They were twin brothers. If you see one, you will see the other one. They are Raymond of the Jebu. Raymond Sheikh Monchoba. You will hear much more about him in the Adepo story. I'm giving you the word. I'm giving you advance notice. Because when the SSS came to bombard your house at Duffy, they didn't meet you. What the wife did was excellent. I told that. I told the story. Now that the president of Nigeria had asked his chief of staff to come and represent him here, he tells your story. I don't need to say anything more. What I'm going to say is when he comes back, tell him that your father will say, Mweh. He knows that. He knows the meaning. And your father will say, Mweh. We will tell you, we will give you some cases. All my friends, very distinguished, eminent people who are here. This is my Abu, who is like the crown prince of Ofa. So Jolaboju, this is my emeritus professor Adebayo Williams. Is it the son of only one of them remained alive? When Chimawolowo in 1950 set up and he sent out 61 letters of invitation privately for the formation of action group. Only 7 people responded. Only 7 people responded. His father was one of them. And that's the name called Shupo Sholibare.
I salute you. I salute Governor Niyakibayo. I salute Bashorun Yekerani. I salute the First Lady of Lagos, Her Excellency Gladys Kanu. She had something to say at the time. She would say it. She will be given some time to say it. Olori, you will please say that on the floor. Saluting Kabiyesi for honoring me with your presence. When he told me yesterday that you will call me, I said I was glad with that. Huh? But I just one of my lecturers here is here, Professor Rafa Kefele. God bless with you. The story, yes, I'm not forgetting. There are quite a number of them. While Oshun acted for me when I was detained, and himself was picked up just immediately. He was in the Ikoyi prison for 8 months. As soon as the family went to bail him out, he just disappeared and became the medical secretary abroad. Look at him now; he's grown so much white there, like I don't know, but I'm older than him. Now, the story of the chief lawyer of today is much more interesting. I knew Governor Kwegadane also 45 years ago. The university I've just finished mass communication, and I'm just a second class offer. You are considering Ayo to stay around. They gave me a place at Bangkok Hostel. And here was this young man who I just come looking for. He was squatting. With another of his colleague, Hegemony, who is the great governor of the state. They got together to do the engineering. That's from where I knew the chief lodge of today. Something else connects us together. His father was a Baptist pastor before branching out. So he himself went to Baptist college. So we sat together. I play on yoga and he sat together with me. So we've been together for long. But some of in this no publicity anywhere. His own father, his grandfather, owned by 50% of the entire arena. And this place, all these places that we are sitting here, they own them. The British, like told, they blackmailed, they tried to reflect certain things before they took over this place. And October had been a distinguished professional accountant all over the world. Father, JK, I thank you. Thank you very much. The last of the list that I must talk about. Then, the last one who is here that I must recognize is my uncle. It was 19 on July 22nd last year. When you see my purpose right up and you are asking yourself, who are these people? He was one of the eggs who we package it together to become Buddhist. I'm talking about Dr. Fred Omadeli Agbegbe, the grand legend of Nigeria Catholic. Let me go back home. The Ashiwaju of Ofia. Aṣíwájú ọ̀fọ̀fà, Alhaji Owóyẹmí, you know him by some of his institutional framework. One of the best hotels that you have around you is which one now? Radisson Blue. Who says our people are not the young ones who are coming behind the likes of Wabuchitu, sir? Then the one who are managed the back of industry. Lagudu, White, his father was very, and I were very, very close. When he was the man in charge of complications of NEPA, we were very close. After we had formed this government in Lagos, some young people, young guys, they called themselves new generation. They started coming to me and visiting me and saying, "One, you have done quite enough for the urban nation. You wanted to come and join us and see what you can contribute." Those who are one of those who are leading them, included the governor of former governor of the state, and Mr. Jimmy Agbade is seated there as if he's Mr. Nobody. Please stand up for the recognition. Please stand up for the recognition. The village group too are here. I've seen Mr. Daniel is 70. Last year, Daniel, where are you? He said, taxi. Then I'm seeing the man who fed me when I was after 16 calendar months in Kano Central Prison, and I was brought to Kuje Prison. The man fed me throughout my 4 or 5 months stay in Kuje Prison. It's here. Apostle Tola Ogogo. And representing Ogogo. I thank you very much. I thank you very much. There are so many people. Come to take of it. My own church people, many of them are here representing the Cathedral Church. Mrs. Bangor is here. See, I'm Auntie Jumakani Woshi. God bless you. God bless all of you. I thank you very much. I cannot thank you all. I'm the patron of Nanta. I'm the patron of Association of Lagos State Artisan and Petition. They are represented here. I thank you all. The distinguished son, Gogi. Deacon Arokurade, thank you. PhD Petroleum Engineering, Dr. Balasaka, thank you very much. Thank you very much. All of you, I thank you very much. Then I thank my family, my wife, and then all of us. One man who he runs away when you need him most. I don't think he has this. I think he's even left again now. Where is Moise? Okay, I see. That's one man I wanted to hold, but he will slip out. He will slip out. I thank you. I have very short. Auntie. I didn't know that you are here. Auntie Irene Adiola, welcome. Please let me do just one small thing. I'm not about to read any speech. Wait. Professor Isitaki. Uncle, where are you? He said what? Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. look at my big comrade, Alhaji Najim Dima. If you don't know this man, you have made out. This was General Secretary of Lagos, University of Lagos Student Union, when the student unionism was student unionism. We see that another barrel, but it's a benefit compliment. Distinguished and benefit. Authors, but I doubt it. The authors missing. I'm just missing. So don't bother about me. Could there have been Nigeria without the discovery of the war? Could there have been military insurrection without the war? Could there have been an imposition of military dictatorship that arrested Nigeria's manifest hopes and aspirations, as well as stunted its growth and development without the war? For that of the imperialist Great Britain to suppress, intimidate, hound, repress, and humiliate Nigerian ethnic groups in order to force the over 350 ethnic groups into cohabitation so as to achieve the so-called amalgamated Nigeria in 1940. Why was the composition of Nigeria disproportionately dominated sectionally? Who are the principal promoters of the force and revenge groups? Did the cabinet of Prime Minister of South Africa voluntarily hand over power to the army? Who were the principal advisors of Major General Aguiyi-Ironsi in 1966 after supplanting the democratically elected government? What were the main events that led to the Civil War? What were and are still the consequences of the Civil War on the Igbo nation and Nigeria generally? Furthermore, when Major Kaduna Ozogu bluntly declared publicly that the execution of the coup in the South was tribalistic, and his view was collaborated by Captain Emmanuel Iwabu, leader of the operation in the Western region, that the operation in Lagos was compromised by nepotism. Why did General Aguiyi-Ironsi differ for about 6 months without conveying appropriate military bodies to decide the fate of the coup plotters? Why did General Aguiyi-Ironsi insist on 24th May 1966, despite the advice and suggestion to him by many officers, particularly Lieutenant Colonel Hassan Usman Katsina and others? The above process have not been adequately responded to by various writers, even though the general public is repeatedly asking questions as to when and how did Nigeria start getting it wrong? B, where will Nigeria have been today without the January 15, 1968 coup? C, what are the impact of the military dictatorship on the country's socio-economic, political, social services, infrastructure, and public institutions like the police and the Nigerian army itself? D, why has Nigeria lost a cherished national ethos, value system, standards, rules of engagement? And why has Nigeria remained an underdeveloped country, while a number of those countries with which we were relatively at par after political independence in 1960 have become developed countries? Asian targets, Malaysia, Indonesia. Despite Nigeria quantitative and qualitative natural and human resources advantages. E, what are the alternative locus of power who collaborated or acquiesced to sustain military dictatorship in Nigeria for so long and for their private rather than public interest and the consequences of their actions? This includes the academia. This includes the public servants. This including the traditional rulers. All of them. You are locals of power. Who could speak to the power that way. And like Lord Atkin said, when we keep short, we keep silent in the time of tyranny, it's either you are beneficiary of the wickedness that is created, or you are hiding something. The appendices contained in this book contain a lot of critically relevant information that readers. That's one. Nobody had ever done it. What else should I give you now? With the coup of 15 January 1960. Nobody had ever done it. I mean, but you will see the account in this book. Concrete evidence, not hearsay. Critical, very solid evidence. The God Hegemony tackles all these posters as a historical, educative, and informative book. It attempts to provide answers and responses to their posters. The book also challenges other interested observers to write on the consequences of military dictatorship on our body politics and its enduring negative legacies. Some people, for reasons best known to them, either deliberately feigning ignorance or for their political reasons, they can blame Bola Tinubu for anything in the world. The military governed for the first time for 30 years in their first coming, 1966 to 1979. In their second coming, they governed for 15 years. 15 plus 13, 28. I mean, that's in uniform. When we forced them to go back to the barracks, they posed their former commanders-in-chief or not again in the name of Obasanjo and Buhari. 8 years, how many years? 16 years, I mean, 16 plus 44, plus 28. That's 44, I mean. Then let's remind you. When Hiroshi was forcing the civilians to give him power in that room that day, Elijah knew Shehu Shagari was Minister of Works in the First World Republic. When we were going to hand over power in 1979, to whom did they give power? To Shagari, Abi? Obasanjo, he knew that President Umobi Yar'Adua was challenged. But that is ulterior motives for picking him. And the fellow was just starting to find his feet in Bayelsa as acting governor. Brought him again to come. If you add years of Yar'Adua and Jonathan, along with that of Shagari, that's almost 13 years. 13 plus 44 years. How many years? 57 out of those 66 independence years of Nigeria. Well, some people don't think, they don't think, they don't have broad-mindedness to appreciate the fact that when people rule for such long period, they've established all the public institutions in Nigeria have been established by them. Their minions, their surrogates, their loyalists, their confederates, their sympathizers, they remain in charge. When they start now talking about but we have taken over power now for many years. So what can they do? So you can blame Bola Tinubu. You can say anything about him. Last year at my of our home during my 21st Christmas carol in Christmas carol service. I said before tax bills that President Bola Tinubu sent to the National Assembly that was taking a shot at fiscal federalism, that whether some people like it or not, it will succeed. Has it not succeeded? Well, you may not like it, but the truth of the matter is that only public servants who earn small money pay tax and they don't pay anything. They dodge, they bribe the revenue officer. He has tried to write that on. Some people they don't like it. And some people are raising hell. And I repeat what I said on Friday, it was published on Monday. The current security situation is unwarranted. It shows that our security architecture is unfit for now. But then, you must know the circumstances within which this is happening, locally and internationally. Look at the Sahelian individual. Look at what has happened to them. No more green. They are looking for a way to take it to get it to Nigeria. And that's why they are ethnically cleansing our people. And you think that somebody who has just come, who is just finding his feet, will be able to copy that immediately. Don't let it deceive ourselves. This country has been discovered for too long. It did not take 3 years for it to be righted. So, my challenge in this book is that I want you to go and read. You will quite find a number of things you never imagine ever happened to Nigeria. And they happen. Some of us were witnesses. I participated in some of them. That's why it was direct, not hearsay story. If the army is not intervened in Nigeria affairs, the story of Nigeria will not be what it is today. Thank you very much. God bless you. I'm told that Professor Isaac is back here now. Uncle, welcome, sir. God bless you, sir. Oh, okay. Welcome, sir. I didn't know. Please welcome. I didn't know. Welcome.
All right, I think thank you very much. Please, let's put our hands together for the author. It's actually not easy to write a book, and it's not easy to write a book at this age. So for him to have done that, it's something great. I want to welcome Mr. Emeka Ugwoju and Barrister Nkechi Ugwoju. Thank you very much for coming. We recognize your presence. Well, our day is fast spent. It's my pleasure now to invite the chief launcher of the book for his remarks and pronouncement. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let us please put our hands together for the chief launcher. Okay. So he's going to unveil the book, and I think, should he be joined by the principal launcher? Okay. He'll be joined by the principal launcher, Bashar J.K. Randall. Please come forward. And would also ask the representative of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that's, yes, the Chief of Staff to the President, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, please come forward. And the Chairman of the occasion, Uncle Sam Amuka, would also invite the representative of the Lagos State Governor, Yes, and the two former governors of Ogun State, and the former governor of Ekiti State, please. And we want Chief Emeka of the police come forward as well. In fact, let me just hand over to the chief launcher the chief launcher will direct proceedings from there.
Many eminent personalities here present. All other protocols to be extended. This is precisely where we are going. Because
Àwọn ushers elected direct.
have confessed to us that we don't have money. And we all know that generations now will not buy books they will not read. So we're going to try very hard to ensure that we collect as much as we can. And when you look at the people who are standing by me, the boss of bosses is here, representing the president. The governor of governors is there, our boss, Oshoba, is there. He says he's on pension. But I will just keep quiet about that. Our Olori is here. From the totality of what I know, I will not speak. But I know that she's a woman like a man. So the job is very simple. We will unveil these books together. And before we take our, I intend to collect a couple of millions. So please do not, just be ready if and when Your Excellency, our Chief of Staff, please let us be unveiled together these books. Together, I want to hold it to yes. Chairman, please put your magic hand on this. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. A round of applause. Chairman, sir. We are going to take pictures with this. And once you touch this book, the minimum is 1 million naira. Please kindly come back so that we can take pictures. We will hold the books and take this historical picture. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I will allow the people who are more than 85 to go back to their seats. Deliberately, my guy is not 35 yet. I took that incorrectly. He was over with. If you are above 88, you can go and sit down. Please, podium. Bring back the podium so that we can do this business quickly. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, let me say that chief launching is not probably part of what I'm known for. But in this particular instance, I have little or no choice. I have been warned that whatever figure I mention should be the minimum people of this side should talk about. And if you know how we respect courtesies and protocols, if I do something, my boss like Chief Oshoba might do something more. Otherwise, he will lose the leadership right there. But the one serious note, I just want to give us more. This book took a lot to put together. And you'll be shocked. I received a visit in my house a few days ago. And it was Chief of Mokapemo, Satsan, and Chief of Padoko who came to my house just for this purpose. So they have told me that I must not disappoint. So I'm the MC now, as far as collection is concerned. So my boss is what should I say? Because whatever I say, you have to say something more. We are not doing badly. The boss of all bosses, please whisper something. From the rock. If you don't mind, I need to correct something. You were described as a cheap launcher. Not the launcher. There's a difference. So as a cheap launcher, you have to launch first and way above everybody else. It is unfair to ask our leader, who is just a launcher, like me, like you, like everybody else. You are the chief launcher. How much are you launching? The speaker of the whole federation, who is now the chief of staff, and who is standing for the president, you know I have a problem with. And on a more serious note, it will be my pleasure to support this book launch with the token of 10 million naira. Woo! I have done this myself. Well, I will certainly be communicating Mr. President's amount to Chibayo Padogo. But for myself, I will buy as many copies as 5 million naira will buy.
Governor Daniel knew that I've had total knee replacement. But he will not stop putting my leg in spite of my total knee replacement. So, you know, I didn't get to go to the Senate after my governorship. And he knows that he and I get only 676,000 naira a month as pension. We are not those governors who have heavy pension, houses and things built for them. In Ogun State, we get only 676,000 naira a month. And that's going to pull my neck to say I should get the cheap is deliberate. But you see, as your Padoku, and then went up to my left. The author was the one who provided the place where your Padoku was hiding. It's the author was provided before the air conditioner repairer gave up your Padoku. Well, 676,000 a year. How many years will I be out? I will buy a copy for 2.5 million.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what I'm fixing the mind. Yes, sir. Thanks, sir. Yes, sir.
We met Ayo Padoku in 1993 in our house. Number profession in 1974, but that wasn't the so they were very serious about Nigeria, what to do about Nigeria, and the wrong things going on. Ayo was the secretary, and it continued like that. Later, it continued until my husband passed on. My husband later became the chairman, and my job was just to be arranging the events, you know. These men were very serious, you know. They wanted the best for Nigeria, and they really wanted the best. So this book came out today, and really in support of more books being written by men. People are saying he's old. Old age has nothing to do with the brain and the mind. So he's writing another one that is coming out in Adeko, and we're looking forward to it. I will start by launching with 1 million. I will
I bring greetings from it's a prayer yesterday, my husband, the owner of Tradition Land, and he has asked me to tell Chifayo Okadokun that you are one person that could be referred to as the conscience of the nation. History cannot forget you, cannot forget your sacrifice, your struggle during the Nadeko period to enthrone true democracy in Nigeria. I congratulate you for this wonderful work of the gun hegemony. And on behalf of my husband, I support with 2 million naira.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Okwadokun is a very noble community, and we always proud of it. Always practice of our man, being Nigeria proud, struggling for so many things in Nigerian democracy. On behalf of myself, on behalf of Olofa and myself, we do 5 book for 2.5 million. I thought I was excused because I was privileged to be on this top table. But because of the respect I have for my grandma, I have to do a program to be here. So I'm not one of the volunteers. But I'm a supporter of a very good cause. And to that effect, I'm going to support it. We are not disclosing. Thank you very much.
You know, when I see Okwadokun, he was telling you that I was the one feeding him in prison. You know, he was the one responsible for freedom. Because he was in the negotiating team that went to meet the president, and he gave the government CUV to come and inform in prison that the next 2 days are coming out, my brother. Hallelujah. And so, on behalf of my brother, Dr. and myself, we are launching it to 10 million.
Before great, Donald, you didn't say one thing that is crucial, like this honest need to know. I celebrated my 50th anniversary in Kude prison. And Donald went out to go and buy a he-goat that was as smooth as this and prepared a pepper soup for me and gave sweets and biscuits to all prisoners in Kude prison. That's what we said.
I will soon excuse the eminent personalities to sit down, but Your Excellency, former governor of Ekiti, would like to do something, and then the person representing our fourth governor would like to do something before I finally hand over to Dr. Razo. Thank you.
very much. The FNT, ladies and gentlemen. When I arrived here this morning, the writer is surprised that I was here, and he made a comment. You made it. I said I had no choice. I believe he's one of the unsung heroes of Nigerian democracy, and I believe that I am one of those who have benefited from his sacrifice. So it is a result of that I find myself here today. And I told the chief lawyer that I don't announce my donations in public, but rest assured, sir, I'll buy 2 books for a substantial amount of money.
Well, thank you very much. I think I'll just queue along that side. As a public officer, I can assure you, for undisclosed amount here, Mr. Governor will surely send it to you. But I cannot keep the mic down because relationship that we have, I had no choice to also to do my own little contribution. And at this stage, I will not be shying away. Before I became Attorney General, I was a senior advocate of Nigeria. I've been that since 2008 till date. I think I should have some money. So the leader has already given us 10 million naira. So I'll not do 10% of it. Thank you. On my personal.
Sorry, before we leave this stage, because we talk about money here, I think it's important. He is also a senior advocate, and I know how your father has described him as somebody who is always sleeping. So I think Moise and the rest should be part of the sit down. Where is it? Go there. Okay, we represent Moise and here. Okay.
Thank you very much. I think at this stage, I would like to excuse our eminent personalities to please take their seats. While it's part two. Okay. So while they take their seats, I'll plead with the representatives of Dr. Fayemi to come and join Dr. Rando. Engineer Inua, kindly come and join Dr. Rando. And of course, the Crown Prince of at this stage, I will hand over to Dr. Kintunadu, who will take over from there. Mr. Jimmy Agbade, you are wanted on the dais. Please come and join us. Dr. Rando.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, according to the program, I'm required to make some remarks. Exactly 60 years ago, our beloved nation, Nigeria, took us by surprise. Soldiers led by Major Chukwuma Kaduna Nzegu and Major Emmanuel Fekio, the Olympic and Commonwealth Games high jump champion, announced the termination of the civilian government led by Alhaji Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. I was in London, aged 22 years, and I was almost halfway through becoming a chartered accountant. My daily routine revolved around learning the rudiments of profit and loss accounts, balance sheet, value proposition, spreadsheets, change management, feasibility reports, succession planning, risk assessment, risk management, strategic thinking, checks and balances, simulation, critical path analysis, proof of concepts, environmental impact assessment, visioning, planning, memorandum, financial modeling, etc. None of this seems to matter to the coup plotters. The five majors, Major Chukuma, Kaduna Uzegu, Major Emmanuel Ifejuana, Major Timothy Owatolu, Major Chris Anuforo, Major Don Okafor. A somewhat different list is provided by Major Adewale Adegboyega in his book, Why We Stop. In their radio broadcast, the coup plotters addressed only one item, their mission, which was to liquidate the civilian government that had commenced on 1st October 1960. That was the beginning of their trouble with Comrade Ayo Okwadoku. He has waited these past 6 decades to retaliate, and surprisingly, he has chosen the same January 15 to return fire for fire. His verdict on the invitation cards and advertisements of today's event, all the names except in order to address that omission, permit me to disclose he's practicing as a general accountant for 56 years. I spent 34 years at KPMG, and for 11 years I was chairman and chief executive. However, what is far more relevant is that I've been a newspaper columnist for almost six decades, courtesy of Ademoshekun Oshoma and Chief Samamuka. And I've written 25 books, of which the best known, The Godfather Never Sleeps, God of Sunday in Los Angeles anymore. My books deal with the same issues which are captured in the Gun Hegemony, but from a different perspective. Let me quickly round up by saying that the military by force and perpetual fear. However, on one memorable occasion, our ambassador in Rome, Italy, refused to be cowed. Colonel J.S. Fallon was a much loved former chief teacher. General Yakubu Gawan was one of his students, and he was adored by successive military governments. He was a non-career ambassador. However, he had a drinking problem. Anyway, during the Buhari Ijagbon regime, which had launched war against indiscipline, the very time Major General Tunde Ijagbon was scheduled to stop over in Rome en route from Moscow. The embassy staff went to great lengths to ensure that Ambassador Fallon was not served any alcohol while he was in the diplomatic lounge. Unfortunately, the Ijagbon's plane was late. In the meantime, the stewards in the diplomatic lounge finished their shift but forgot to warn their replacement that alcohol was not to be offered to the Nigerian ambassador. The new stewards apologized profusely to Ambassador Fallon for not serving him alcohol and offered him any drink of his choice. Consequently, by the time the Ijagbon arrived, the Nigerian ambassador was thoroughly plastered, drunk, legless. When the Ijagbon's plane eventually arrived, Ambassador Fallon could barely stagger to the plane. As the very time the Ijagbon came down the stairs, our ambassador delivered his unsolicited audit report.